Hi, my name is Dr. Logan Larson, and my music combines classical music and EDM, or electronic dance music, into a new genre entitled bass complexity. So what is bass complexity? Bass complexity takes the visceral synths and drums from EDM and combines them with more traditional classical elements such as orchestration, counterpoint, church modes, and mode mixture. How the genre got started, I've definitely had an affinity for classical music and EDM for a very long time, but also I felt like there was things that were missing when I heard other fusion music or trying to combine these two genres before. So when I listened to EDM music that was trying to put classical elements into it, I kind of felt like they were just mimicking the same thing that the synths were doing, so they weren't adding anything melodically or rhythmically. Obviously, timbrally they did, but there wasn't any complexity to it. They weren't really adding anything contrapuntally as well, so these are things that I felt like were missing on the EDM side that I wanted to add. And on the classical side, where they tried to put more electronic elements into it, I felt like the electronics were always in the background, and they did create an atmosphere to it, but they weren't really on equal footing. And also the sound design and the electronic production wasn't at the level and quality necessary to be able to operate without the classical elements. Something really important for me for creating this music was to make sure I had a really high level for both classical music and for EDM. So I want to make sure that I was writing something that made a lot of sense. If you just played it by itself, like just playing the classical instruments alone, it really made sense. The structure was good, the orchestration was good, and also on the electronic side, I wanted to make sure that the sound design and the mixing was good, that if you listen to the electronic music by itself, that it really does flow in terms of structure as just an electronic piece as well. But then when you put them together, we are making something new, making something different, and that's where bass complexity lies. The idea for the genre was sparked in 2019 when I went to Ultra Music Festival, a large EDM festival in Miami, Florida, where I was doing my doctorate at the University of Miami. So I was listening to an artist named Rez, and people were going absolutely nuts for just drum and bass. And it kind of occurred to me that people have been listening to heavy contrapuntal music like Bach, Mozart, a bunch of classical music for hundreds of years. How did we get here? Something more simple. And I know we can handle a lot more as humans. I know we can. So I was thinking, what's my part in this? How can I add the things that I love of classical music and EDM, put them together in a new and unique way that's going to push the classical arts forward? And that's kind of where bass complexity started. So one of the really important things in electronic dance music is going to be BPM. It creates the rhythm that our bodies move to and how our bodies flow. So when you're writing in a specific subgenre, it's really important to stay within those constrictions. Now, I understand that sometimes in grade level world, when you're trying to be like, well, my instrumentation can only play this fast, can I slow it down? The answer is no. There's a ton of history and culture that are a part of these genres, and we want to stay true to those while we're making them. So that means that, unfortunately, can we play some of the things that I write slower? No. We have to still create the same vibe, right? Because if we slow things down too much, or even speed things up too much, right, the motion that we'd be able to do just doesn't make sense. I like to think of something like headbanging, right? So like 140 to 150 in dubstep is a great example where, you're something halftime, right? And trying to slow that down, right? It doesn't really have a natural motion to it. So like these are the things that don't seem super duper important, but there is a ton of history and culture inside of these subgenres that we need to respect in the classical world. So slowing them down wouldn't respect those. So with BPM being so important, you might think for your grade level, hey, this just isn't going to work out. But I'd like to believe that students are actually going to practice this stuff. This is something that's going to excite them, want to practice, get better. So even if something's a little bit faster than, is typical for a grade level, I do think that people will, actually put in more work for this stuff to make it work. So even if it's outside of that level of possibility for your ensemble, I do think that you might be surprised by them trying to do that. Now, if it's way too far beyond that's definitely one thing to consider. But if it's close, I think kids can kind of and students can push themselves. From my experience with working with other ensembles, the thing that works best for rehearsal is going to be working with a metronome and getting up to the BPM necessary before you add the track in. So definitely start at a slower BPM if necessary, and then keep increasing that BPM until you're at the actual BPM of the piece. So the rest of this video is just going to be me playing other artists that have inspired me, what inspires my EDM tracks, how they're made, the structure, all that kind of stuff. So really all we're going to do is just have kind of a listening party about things that help make the music that I make. So these artists I'm going to play are the people that have made the most impact on me over time with the EDM music that I've listened to from them. Skrillex and Ace Aurora are probably the ones that I listen to the very most. Beast Boy is another one that's coming recently. But a lot of these people have been kind of the bedrock of my foundation for EDM, what I like to listen to, what I like to create. So Without further ado, here are some more EDM artists that I absolutely love.
Get it!
Beast Boy.
Bustin'.
That's not have a good time. Bustin'.
You're already dead.
Gotta die sometime. Scream along if you know the words.
Mercy. Son.
Oh my god! Nothing matters when I'm with you, baby. Love me like you're electric lady.
about what we could never be.